Well, I've had this brilliant idea. No, not again. Not again. This can't be happening again. Come on. Who am I gonna call? Okay, let's try that. Hiya. Yeah, I have ghosts in here. Yes, of course, ghosts. Yes. Can you come? But I haven't got a jumpsuit. You will have to make me one. A jumpsuit? Really? Well, it depends on you. Okay. Yes, as quick as possible. I'll have it ready. Okay, okay. Take care. Ta-da. Okay, bye. Well, I'm going. I can't work like this. And now that everything seems a bit quieter today, let's show you the fabric I got. I got this twill, this cotton twill in a camel color. It's a bit lighter than camel, it's not as brown, it's a bit more yellowish, but I think it'll look nice and not as working jumpsuit. So let's start tracing the pattern. Even though I have my jumpsuit patterns trace, it's not the first jumpsuit I make. I leave you the link to every jumpsuit down here. And even though I have this, I'm going to trace it from scratch so you can see how to do it yourself at home. And I'm going to trace it in fours like that. So every measurement will be divided by 4 because we're only tracing half the front or the back of your bodice. So the jumpsuit is going to be quite simple, but with an 80s look with some shoulder pads. I'm not a fan of shoulder pads, but she asked for something like that, so let's do it. And I'm going to add some pleats on the shoulders and a belt, so it has something. Let's see if I can finish soon so this can end. So to measure yourself, you're going to need the distance from shoulder to shoulder, in my case 39 centimeters, and the shoulder width from your neck to your shoulder, in my case 11 centimeters. Of course, I'm going to need the armhole distance from shoulder to the middle of your armpit, which is 20, in my case 19. And then you're going to need your chest contour, in my case 85, waist contour, in my case 67, and hip contour, in my case 90 centimeters. And of course, to place accurately all these horizontal lines, the bust line, the waistline and the hip line, you need some sort of guide. And for that, you're going to measure the bust height, then your waistline height and your hip line. And you can even make it from one to the other, to the next. So from your waistline, for example, you can measure down to your hip line, in my case 25. Take into account that even though we're tracing quarters of the pattern, we need some space for the crotch line, so don't trace right on the edge of your paper, but a bit inwards, a bit inwards. And to trace my crotch line from the hip line in the middle bit, I'm going to go down 2 centimeters and then go out 5 centimeters. This is going to be the crotch line for my front panel, and then from that point I'm going to go down another 2 centimeters and another 5 out, and this is going to be the crotch line for my back panel. So in the same pattern I'm going to have both front and back panels. And then for the neckline, I'm going to go down to lower it 10 centimeters because I don't want it too tight on my neck, but this is just, it depends on your taste. And then taking into account that my shoulder is 11 centimeters wide, I'm going to leave it 5 centimeters per pleat, so that way I have to elongate the shoulder and then make a new armhole. To hide the shoulder pad, I'm going to make a facing so it's enclosured. So I'm going to just trace from the armhole out and cut that, and that will be my facing, I think. Let's finish cutting this. Where did I leave my paper scissors? These are not. The jumpsuit panels are cut on the grain and they join together by the middle seam and then top stitch. Then they are sewn right sides together, and for the pleats I'm going to add some facings so they are nicely finished and the buttons on the back. So I'm going to start sewing the two fronts right sides together and then open the seam to give it a top stitch. That will reinforce the seam and it's a nice little touch. And for the back panels I'm going to do the same, but only from the waistline down to the crotch line, and I'm going to fold it when I do the top stitching so everything is hidden, everything goes inside, and I can go on sewing all the way up to the back, up to the neckline, so it's perfectly sewn and finished when I put the buttons. And when top stitching, I'm going to add a bit of elastic band that's going to be what holds the buttons in place. I'm going to make sure I finish all the raw edges with my fake overlock foot, and after that I can sew front and back by the side seams, shoulders, and in between the seams from crotch line to one ankle and from crotch line to the other ankle so it doesn't twist. For the pleats on the shoulders, I'm going to make sure I do it nicely so they are both the same in both sides and they look alike. And then because I don't want them to get open all the time because they lose shape, I think I'm going to add some interfacing, and that way they'll stay in place nicely. The facing goes right sides together, sewn all along the shoulder seam and the armhole seam. And then it needs an understitching, really important, so it keeps in place, and that's what I'm going to put in my shoulder pad. Well, this shoulder pad looks really good with the pleats, and what I'm thinking now that I have it done is that maybe for next time I can try to do like a whole facing that includes the neckline and the armhole area. I don't know if you can do that, but I'm going to study it because I think it would have been nice for this project. So I'm doing okay. Let's go with the hemline. For the hemming, I always end up quite quickly because I just fold twice and always do a double hem. I like it a lot because you finish it, you don't have any raw edges, but this fabric is a bit nicer and I think it's asking for an invisible stitch. But I'm not very good by hand, so I'm going to try with the machine. I remember when I did the video about different stitches of my sewing machine, there's one and it's like a zigzag, and then one of the stitches go inwards a bit more, and I think with that one, folding it twice, you can do your invisible stitch. So I have everything overlocked so it doesn't fray, and then I'm going to fold the amount I want to hem and then fold outwards, and this leaving the hemline, leaving the raw edge on the side and the other one a bit inner. You can finish it like that, I think. So apparently when you do and put it right sides out, it'll be done. So let's try. I haven't done anything like this before. I just realized I haven't even cut the fabric for the belt. So I'm going to take advantage of the width of the fabric, 150, and cut a strip of material of like 15 centimeters. So then when I fold it and with the seam allowance and all this, it remains like 7 centimeters. So I'm going to interface one of the sides and then just fold inwards and sew on top. And now with the belt finished, the only thing I have left to do is the two buttons. When did it get dark? Oh no, that's when things happen, isn't it? Oh, look, yes. I don't want to be here in the dark. I need to sew this. And that's it, that's it. Come on, come on. Quickly, quickly. Using buttons, using buttons. And sewing them there, sewing them there, and that's it. No more worries. This is not good. This is not good at all. Going to stop myself. Okay, that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with the whole situation. She can do whatever. Bye. So now that the sewing room is quiet, I can tell you about the jumpsuit. I really enjoyed sewing it and designing it. I love the shoulder pads, the pleats, the top stitching, and the look of it in general. Even though I'm not a shoulder pad person, but I think it gives it a little of something. Things I will have done differently, the facing. I said it before, and I think there's a way of making like whole facings all in ones that include neckline and armholes. 2 years ago I made a waistcoat, a furry one, and I did it with lining that's sewn inside without any seams. And I did it by pulling from one corner, sewing half the armhole, and then pulling from another side and sewing the other half. So I think it could be possible. So next time I'm going to try. Another thing I will change a little bit is by making it a bit wider, so the pleats are even deeper. I think it will be nice as well. And maybe just because I'm not a shoulder pad person, I will choose them a little bit smaller next time, just so it's a bit of an everyday item and I can wear it even more. And I love that I did the invisible stitch on the hemline, because I always do a double hem. It's really easy and you have everything in there. It's not going to fray, you're not going to have any problems at all. But something like this was asking for a bit more care. It's a nice fabric, it has a nice drape to it, so I thought it was really good to do it this way. So I'm glad I tried. I think it's really feminine, really nice. I like the buttons on the back, and overall it was a nice sewing project that only cost me like 15 euros to make. The fabric was 9.90 a meter and I got 2.5 meters, but I have like a meter left, a lot. So it was really cheap, this everyday costume sort of costume. So if you're not that much into Halloween, or you don't want to waste your money sewing a costume, this is ideal, making something you can wear on an everyday basis, like I did last year with my Wednesday Addams costume. I leave you the link. It's a shirt dress and I wore it a few times after Halloween and it's completely fine. It's really nice. So I hope you've enjoyed it and you had fun. Let me know down in the comments what you thought, and if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing and giving it a like. I would really appreciate it. It helps me a lot, it's what helps me the most, and you can even share it with someone who might like it as well. And I leave you a link here to all the Halloween costumes you've seen and I've made. Bye!